Welcome everyone, I'm Dale and this is CinemaHistoria. Movie reviews, history, and storytelling. And today's story, a 1936 story from the Saturday Evening Post made into a movie called Kid Galahad from 1937. Now this is starring Edward G. Robinson, Bette Davis, and Humphrey Bogart. Directed by Michael Curtiz. And Michael Curtiz did 6 movies for Humphrey Bogart, including the big hit in 1942 called Casablanca. Now this is considered the best of the 1930s boxing movies, but do you have to enjoy boxing to want to watch this film? Not at all. So Nick, played by Edward G. Robinson, is a Florida boxing promoter. His girlfriend name is Fluff, played by Bette Davis. His arch rival by the name of Turkey is a boxing promoter slash gangster played by Humphrey Bogart. Now, Turkey has already signed the heavyweight champion, but Nick is a little down on his luck. He's been having a hard time finding a boxer to try to take to the title. So feeling a little down, him and his girlfriend decide on having a party in their hotel room to cheer themselves up. So they have a lot of people, a lot of booze, and they're running out of booze, so they call downstairs to bring up a bellboy with more booze, which they do. So in walks Ward Goosenberry, played by Wayne Morris. And they end up having a disturbance at the party, and there's a fight that breaks out. So Ward Goosenberry ends up knocking one of the guys out cold. Nick sees him as potential for becoming a boxer. So he asks him, would you like to try the fight game? And he agrees. So they change the name from Ward Goosenberry to Kid Galahad, and he starts fighting and doing quite well. He does a lot of knockouts, so he's really doing well, and Turkey sees that and is a little nervous about him stealing the title away. So to keep Kid Galahad away from Turkey, they end up hiding Kid Galahad away at Nick's family farm, where he ends up meeting Nick's sister, Marie, played by Jane Bryan. So this movie has a little bit of everything in it. It has drama, it has action, it has a love triangle between Kid Galahad, Fluff, and Marie, and it has a real dramatic finish. Michael Curtiz was a very good director from the 1930s and 40s. He was really good at keeping the pace rolling. He also helped careers of actors like Errol Flynn, who did movies like Captain Blood in 1935 and The Adventures of Robin Hood in 1938. So, a little more history and a trivia question coming up next. So, when Kid Galahad was staying out at Nick's farm, he ended up meeting Nick's sister, Marie. Now, Marie would let on that she didn't like Kid Galahad, but she really did. And she proved that by listening to his fight games on the radio. Now, in the movie, it was a big floor-standing tube radio. I don't have one of those, but I do have a radio from 1938, mono, and it works. But this one's from the Canadian Westinghouse Company. Even on the back it has where it states, take off the 6 screws to take off the back panel to replace tubes. They were tube radios. It also has a jack on the back for a phonograph. You'd switch a switch over from radio to phono, put in a single jack because it's mono sound, and you could listen to your vinyl records on one of these. Now, AM broadcasting came out around 1920. FM came out in the late 1930s with better fidelity. Remember, television sets didn't come out until the early 50s. So what did people do in the evenings? They sat around and listened to radio programs. And in America during the 1930s, there was approximately 225 radio programs. Now I wrote down a few that I kind of recognized. Yes, I'm that old. 15 Minutes with Bing Crosby, Abbott and Costello, Amos and Andy, Charlie Chan, Dick Tracy, The Ed Sullivan Show, The Jack Benny Program, The Lone Ranger, Red Skeleton, and The Shadow. Pretty cool. And the trivia question, Was the movie ever remade? Yes, it was, a couple of times. Once in 1941, it was a circus setting called The Wagons Roll at Night with Humphrey Bogart. And the second time in 1962, it was made into a musical starring Elvis Presley with the same name, Kid Galahad. Who played Elvis Presley's boxing coach in that movie? None other than Charles Bronson. Pretty cool. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope to see you back next week.